Hey guys, it's Thomas here. So today I'm going to talk about the KEF LSX. Now, just before I begin, just want to quickly show you how my room looks like right now. I got some panels on the side, first reflection point, some on the ceiling, and I finally got some real bass trap. Now those bass trap kick ass, man. They really made a big difference. And so far the room sounds pretty good right now. As I'm recording this, I've removed the carpet, so you might hear some reflection. And I've done that on purpose, which I'll explain eventually in a video. So before we begin, these speakers come from a store called Centre Hi-Fi. It's actually a chain. The person who's running the place actually happened to be a subscriber of mine. So I get to borrow stuff now. Now I can get to borrow some more up-to-date stuff. For those of you who live in Quebec, well, you have to have heard of the store Centre Hi-Fi. But if you have never been there for a while, go check them out, because the store the direction of the store has changed. They're really into 2-channel stereo right now. They have dedicated listening room, and for all you guys who complain, you know, we never get to listen to whatever we're about to buy, well, now you have a chance to go listen to it. And they even have treated rooms in some of their stores. So anyway, so let's talk about the LSX. Alright, so in the goal of making the video very short, I don't want to review the speaker, so there's so many videos on it already. So if you want to know the size of its woofer, what kind of connection it supports, how you can connect to it, and so forth, just go check out the other videos. Rather, I'll just spend a bit of time talking about what I feel about it and what I've learned also by spending a bit of time with it. So first thing I noticed when I turn it on is that, okay, 100 people on the streets, if I take randomly 100 people, normal people, they will actually enjoy it. And you know, you have the typical KEF sound, very detail high. I mean, you got to give it to KEF when it comes to the detail, how revealing it is, how it sparkles on the top end, just like the KEF LS50, the KEF R700 that I review, it does a very good job. And the good part, these are not bright. You can listen for it for a while. And the top end is actually very smooth, quite surprising. In fact, out of all the active speaker I have here today, I have 3 other pairs. Besides the LS50w, I would say this one probably has the smoothest top end. Mid-range, it's very clear, as expected of KEF, and the bass, which is interesting, is actually very punchy. You expect a small speaker like this, I mean, look at the size, right? To have no bass. No, it has bass actually. My friend who owns the Cantor speaker dropped by. He was like, oh gosh, where does the bass come from? Is there another woofer inside or something? So it does feel like it extends pretty low, and it will surprise you if you expect the bass to be like this. It's actually going to be like that for this kind of size. So another thing that caught my attention is, think of it this way. You can play YouTube through it, Spotify, whatnot. What it's going to do is going to take the sound, it's going to massage it, and then it's going to spit out something that's polished. It's like it beautifies the song, like adding reverb to it, okay? If you've never been to karaoke, if you ever hear somebody sing with no assist, it sounds horrible, unless you're a good singer, okay? But the second you add a bit of reverb to it, anybody sounds fantastic. The more reverb, the better. And this, it feels like that. It feels like it processed the sound a little bit to give it that extra dimension. So the end result is there's some kind of 3D soundstage that I feel. There's certain, it's not holographic, but you can tell something, it makes it very spacious. It just makes things sound better. You know what? In fact, I'm going to link 2 YouTube videos, okay? It's the same song. Beautiful song, by the way. I think I listened to it over 10 times straight. Just listen to the first 15 seconds, and you're going to hear that the live version sounds more natural than the main version, and that one sounds a little bit processed. So this is how it sounds like to me. So that's why I say, take 100 people on the streets, most of them will actually be blown away by these speakers, especially when you look at how small it is and what it can do, and the soundstage that it produces, and the effects it gives you. And that's why I was quite surprised by it. Sounds different from the KEF LS50w. Now, if I take 100 audio files, the story changes a little bit now. The reason is because, remember I said that it beautifies the song? Well, guess what? It's not natural. It sounds processed. If you're somebody who's looking for this neutral sounding speaker, quote unquote accurate sounding speaker, natural sounding speaker, then yeah, it's not going to do it for you. If you're somebody who's very into critical listening, you want fantastic separation, you want razor sharp separation, you want the best imaging possible, then yeah, sure, it's not for you. But for me, I don't think they're targeting that audience, right? So some audiophiles would actually enjoy it. And yeah, I'm part of it too. I enjoy it because it's fun, right? Sure, there's a bit of exaggeration, but it's pleasant to my ears. You see, let's talk about this for a second. What is the best sound? So some people believe that, you know, as close to a live performance as possible. Well, I said that, yeah, a lot of musicians I speak to have that mentality. But you know what? Not all of us get a chance to listen to a real orchestra. Not a lot of us get even a chance to listen to guitar, real live guitar. So our frame of reference is different. So for somebody to tell me that that's the good sound or that's the right sound, doesn't work for me. For me, it's whatever sounds good to me. That's the most important. If it's pleasant to my ears, if it makes me happy, if it relaxes me, that's what it counts. It's like going to a restaurant and the chef tells me, you know what, this dish that you order is not supposed to have soy sauce. That's the original recipe. That's the if you want authentic, like this dish, the way it's supposed to be, then there should be no soy sauce. But you know what? I like it with soy sauce. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to add soy sauce to it because that's how I like to eat it. So therefore, for me, I fall in that category. I don't care if it sounds natural. I don't use that as my benchmark. I use how I feel when I listen to it. And for the last few days when I listen to it, yeah, it brings a smile to my face. Sure, the bass, even though as I mentioned before, it does feel it goes very low, there's not a lot of bass. It has good bass extension, but it doesn't have a lot of bass weight. Yeah, that's the way I would put it. So you don't feel like you're listening to a big speaker. There's not a lot of meat on the bone. But because of that, it's very clear sounding. Great vocals. All right, so before I end the video, go check this out at Centre Hi-Fi if you live in Quebec, because they also have other speakers that you can do A/B tests with. For example, the Totem Kin plate, which I'll review eventually. And eventually I'll compare it also to the Triangle active speaker, as well as the KEF LSW. It's great because you can walk in and you can just ask them to A/B test for you. The only thing is that with the Totem Kin plate, you might want to wait for my review because there's something you need to be aware of when you listen to those speakers. Against the KEF LSW, I'll tell you what right now, it's not there. This cannot compare to the KEF LS50w. There's only two things this is better than the KEF LS50w. One is the price, two is the size. That's it. From a sonic perspective, soundstage, imaging, smoothness, blah, 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 the KEF LS50w is better. If you heard both and you don't agree, I bet you it's the settings on the speakers, because these you can control by DSP. And I'm listening to it in a treated room right now, and I've been playing with the DSP, so I'm aware of both speakers. So, well, actually, for my taste, the KEF LS50w is better. Who knows? Maybe you prefer this. Okay, fair enough. And to end this video, I think this time it's pretty short, this video. I think, you know, if real estate is very important for you, sure. 1,005, a little bit pricey, but you know, if you like the KEF sound, I mean, you're not going to beat it in the sense like, you know, that sparkling high, very nice detail that you can get from these tweeters. I mean, they're second to none. KEFs are great for that. No, expansive soundstage, decent bass. Yeah, I mean, okay, I get it. You know, that's why a lot of people like these speakers. Read a lot of good reviews on it, and if you're looking for active speaker, yeah, you definitely should check it out, because you know, musical enjoyment is a very subjective thing, and they design these speakers to target a certain audience. You might actually fall in love with these speakers. Not for everybody, not for all audiophiles, but definitely for a lot of people. All right, with that, I'll see you next time.